Let's click on default reports, and we're taken to a list of reports that are, it's a long list, and basically there are sections. So starter reports are common reports that people tend to use, we've noticed.
Hmm.
There's sections by functionality, so stuff about content, stuff about compliance, stuff about enterprise and performance. And you'll also notice that we've tried to be more descriptive. So we have a statement about what the group is about, and we also have descriptions about what each report is.
Hmm.
So currently, that information is there but a little hidden, and we kind of wanted to surface and make it more easy to determine which report to select. Um,
Got it.
so so for this particular story or flow I'm going to show you, let's say that you wanted to customize or run or do something with the posts all data report. So somehow you read about it or look at it or know what it is and you determine you want to run it. So we're going to click on run, and that will take us to this screen. So you can see we're in post all data. And if you just want to run it and you kind of have run it before, you know what's going on, you're like, okay, I want to make it an Excel workbook. And let's say the date range that I want to run the report on is the 15th. And, that's all I want to do. So I'm going to run the report. And we run the report and it runs. But let's say that after running that, you want to do a little more. So what you can do is click on preview and edit up here. And
Hmm.
when you do that, it opens up that little box into a bigger box that has all the fields that are included in the report. You can see that there's a title for each field, a description, and some sample data. Now that exists today, the sample data and the title, but I don't believe the description does, and we're trying to surface it a little bit more. So let's say, for instance, that you wanted to customize this report. So engagement ID, not important. So let's turn that off. Post ID, not important. Date, not important. But the rest actually is important. So if you scroll down, you can then save this report, which was a default report, but now that we've removed fields, you can save it as your own custom report for later use.
Okay.
So we're going to click on Save as Custom, and that will bring up this dialog where you can name it something that is meaningful to you and write a description, which is, not mandatory, but when you're sharing it with other people, perhaps it will help.
Right.
Uh, and speaking of sharing, we have this toggle here where you can turn on sharing. And at this stage, we don't have selective sharing to specific individuals, but rather on and off sharing to your entire org at this point.
Got it. Okay.
So if you save as custom, it gives you this little message up here. It says it's been saved. And if you want, after you've saved it, you can click on the edit button to bring up that dialog box that we just saw. And you're like, oh, you know what? I actually don't want to share it. So you can turn that off. So it's not like you have to commit to anything. It's changeable after the fact.
Okay.
And then let's say you're, done with this report. It's no longer useful for you. You can just delete it up here, and we'll
Got it.
delete
Okay.
that. So when you delete it, we're going to take you back to the first screen that we saw, which is default reports. And let's take a look at requested reports. So requested reports are things that reports that you've requested to run and are either done running or currently running or in progress. So what we have today is in requested reports, we have, stuff that have already downloaded, but we don't have stuff that is currently running. Some scripts reports take a while, so this kind of gives you a status, and so you know that it's not just hanging or something.
Okay.
So you have the name of the report. If it's based on a default report, it'll give you that information. And if there are filters such as regions or date ranges, it just gives you that context. So you could have multiple ad statistics reports that are have run, and this but they maybe have different date ranges on them. And so this allows you to differentiate between multiple instances of a report that you've run.
Mm-hmm.
And then the runtime is, when you ran it. And this progress bar is something that's in progress. And download means, it already ran, so you can re-download it. You don't have to manually instigate it again. So if you download it, like we are now, just download to your downloads folder. And now that we've done that, we want to go to scheduled. So scheduled is stuff that we have set to run in the future but has not run yet. And it has a similar layout to requested reports, with the difference that there's a stop button. Because it hasn't run yet but is supposed to run in the future, if you click stop and you stop it, it will be removed from this list.
Okay.
If you go to run a report again, you can see that there aren't any favorites. So what we can do is click on add a favorite, which takes us to default reports. And you can click on these stars to make them a favorite. And as you can see, if we go back to favorites, we have one favorite report. So this is kind of like your shortcut list, so you don't have to go to default reports every time.
Okay.
So with